All right. Thank you for joining us. We'll go ahead and get this meeting started this evening. Councilwoman Cuellar, if you would be so kind.
Let us bow our heads. Almighty God and Father of us all, we come before you and we give you thanks and praise for the many blessings that you bestow upon each of us and that you bestow upon our city. And Lord, we also ask that you lead and guide us this evening as we make decisions for our city and for our residents. We ask that you grant us much wisdom in all that we do and in all that we say. And we pray for those who are traveling for Thanksgiving. We ask that you grant them safe travels to and from their destinations. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Thank you for all attending this evening. We're going to go ahead and get our meeting started. We'll go ahead and start with a roll call. Councilman London just ran out to grab his glasses out of his truck. He is here, so we'll go ahead and count him present. Councilwoman Cuellar?
Here.
Councilman Box?
Here.
Councilman Sims?
Here.
And myself present. Thank you very much. At this time, we look for the approval of the minutes from the regular city council meeting of November the 7th.
Council President Spivey, I am requesting one amendment to be made on page 5 at the very top of the paragraph. It should say Councilor Cuellar made a motion to remove ordinance 2023-32 from the agenda.
That looks to already seem to be adjusted in the
It's
copy
been
that I
adjusted.
have.
Very
Yes,
good.
ma'am.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely. So we have a motion on the minutes. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Councilman London, I know you weren't present at our last meeting. Did you have a preference on that? Okay. All right. At this time, we look for a motion of the payment of the current bills.
Make a motion, we pay the current bills in the amount of $1,497,187.04.
Before that receives a second, Councilwoman Cuellar.
I had some questions on the payment of current bills.
Okay, state question.
On pages 10 and 11 and 12, under administration, there are 23 items that are from 2 cents to less than $1. 2 cents, 97 cents, 28 cents, 50 cents. And I'm wondering why we have so many credit card charges for such small dollar amounts. I mean, the processing fees alone are a lot higher, and I'd like to know why we have so many of them.
I haven't looked at what was actually on the report there, but there was a credit card that we had that was compromised, and we had to. What we had to do, Lee? You know how we have to. Yeah, it was a report fraud or whatever. So I'm thinking when you see those charges for that, it would be pertaining to when we had fraud to take place on that particular credit card.
So are we being charged those small amounts, or it's on our expense report?
We were charged those amounts, but the amounts were also reversed when they had a chance to be able to investigate the charges. And the reversals will not show up on an expense report because it's not an expense.
But those charges were the claim was processed, the charges were reversed, things of that nature?
Yes.
Okay.
Very good. So we're not going to be out any money as a result of the compromise card? Thank you. Appreciate the explanation. Thank you, Mayor Stewart.
Does that satisfy your question, Councilwoman
Yes.
Cuellar? Okay, we have a motion for the payment of bills. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. At this time, we'd look for any professional or consultant reports for the dais this evening. Any professionals or consultants? All right. Mayor, you have the floor, sir.
All right, Council President, I appreciate it. I'm going to give you all the fastest 2 minutes in actually giving a report. I want to thank all of those who participated in the prayer circle that took place around the pole on Saturday. I truly believe that a city needs prayer, a city that prays together, stays together. Also, for the individuals that participated in giving away turkeys. There were over 300 turkeys and sides that were given away on Saturday to be able to help those in need. One of the things that I like about the city of Irondale, when we give away stuff, we don't ask people to fill out forms and verify where they live and be able to tell what their income is. Because if I can remember when Jesus walked the streets, I can't ever remember him feeding somebody and asking them to verify what their income was. So we try to participate and do the same thing here in the city. I invite you all to come out on Tuesday, November the 28th, to be able to see the master plan for all of the parks in the city of Irondale. And we will also have the group that did the branding project to be here as well. Both of them will be presenting on Tuesday, November the 28th at 6 p.m. And I encourage everybody to come out so that you can see what's going on in your parks as well as what's going on with the brand for the city. On Thursday, November the 30th, we'll have our 5th class to be able to graduate from the Citizen Engagement Institute. We'll have over 100 individuals to be able to be a part of that process once they graduate on Thursday, November the 30th. On December the 1st, we're having our 2nd annual nighttime Christmas parade. If you haven't signed up to be a part of the parade, I'm going to encourage you to go ahead and to do that now. It's going to be a wonderful event. We are going to go about a mile, so I think everybody can probably do a mile, but we'll end up at City Hall. We'll light the tree. We'll have cocoa. We'll have cookies that'll be given out by the Exchange Club. We may even have the train out front to allow everybody to see the new train that came in a few weeks ago. Also, I want to be able to encourage everybody that we're still doing Trash Amnesty Week. We're moving into November the 27th through the 30th. That's District 1. So we still have District 1, District 2, and District 3. And I hope that you all will participate in that as well. Also, what we decided to do for the Christmas holidays and the New Year holidays, we're not picking up recycling on that Monday because the Monday is Christmas. The next Monday is New Year's Day. But what we're asking you to do is to put your recycling out on the day that your trash is picked up. So if your trash pickup is Tuesday, put your blue recycling can out on Tuesday. If your pickup is on Wednesday, put your blue recycling can out on Wednesday. Therefore, we'll pick up all of the recycling and we'll also pick up all of the trash, and we don't have to add another day to the schedule to be able to do that. Anybody got any questions about that before we move on to something else?
So I'm assuming you're going to have a recycle truck piggybacking the trash truck, because I know the trucks have to be cleaned out or is
I
it
think
dedicated?
we're just picking up everything.
Okay.
And if you don't want your recycling to go in to be commingled, you can keep it in your garage. And on January the 8th, the regular recycling pickup will take place.
Got it.
So on Tuesday, which is a lot of our days, which is Christmas, it'll just be Wednesday, correct?
No, if your trash day is Tuesday, it will still be Tuesday. And we ask you to put your recycling out with your trash on or your garbage on Tuesday. And if your pickup is Wednesday, we ask you to put out your recycling on Wednesday when they pick up your garbage on Wednesday.
Okay.
And then the normal recycling cycle will continue on January the 8th.
Got it.
Thank you, sir.
If anybody's unhappy with that schedule, please call Frank Pennington at 205-951-1420. Yes, Frank, I just threw you up under the bus. And they allowed me to back over again and put some extra skid marks on you. But Frank is a good guy. So he and I worked through that. So I thank Frank the one that really worked through it. So I appreciate your assistance on that, Frank. Also, we're still taking donations for hams on December the 16th. So if you would like to participate and be a part of that, I will like to thank Church of the Highlands because they provided the turkeys and the boxes. Also, I would like to thank Heidi Kids. They were out there. They provided food and boxes as well. So everything that was provided this Saturday did not cost the city a dime because those donations came in from those two nonprofits, and I would like to thank them for assisting the city with that matter. Okay. Y'all just hold on.
I have something unplanned for you. I was hoping I could ask you. I'm not going to try to put you out too hard, but it's been on my mind and I failed to ask you. Would you mind fielding a random question? It's not going to be anything legally binding. 16th Street, the stripes. Can you tell us what's going on with that while you're in the middle of your report?
16th Street, we realized that initially 16th Street has always been a 2-lane road on both sides.
Right.
When we repaved it, we realized that it really wasn't designed to have double lane roads. What we're doing, we are getting and Frank can correct me if I'm wrong, but we're having the engineers to be able to do an assessment to help us to determine how everything is supposed to be striped, since we are going to have bike lanes on both sides. And we wanted to make sure that we were doing them based on the specifications of the road. So Sane is now looking at that road to determine how those stripes should take place. Is that right, Frank? Okay.
And I'm sorry about that. It's been on my mind for 5 weeks.
that's
and
okay.
I always forget to ask you. So I said, you know what? Boom, it hit me. So I had to do it. I'm sorry about
No,
that.
it's okay. You give me a lot of time to express myself. So that's the least that I can do. Let me see. The newsletter should be coming out, but I did want to encourage everybody to, we are going to do the, where you dress up your house for Christmas, and judging begins December the 8th and the winners will be announced on December the 19th. We're doing a holiday ham giveaway on December the 16th. It'll be here in front of City Hall from 9 to probably 10 o'clock. And also the Spirit of Giving Blood. We're having a blood drive again, Wednesday, December the 20th, the 20th here from 9 to 6 in front of City Hall. We encourage you to come out if you're not afraid of needles, participate in that and be able to give someone the gift of life. I'm not going to go through the other things, but one of the things that you can check for on the letter is to see when Santa Claus is coming to your neighborhood. So they've already put together the schedule for when Santa Claus is going to start on December the 19th. He's going to end up on December the 22nd of riding through the city. Now, I have 3 presentations that I need to do very quickly. One of them is going to be to one of our outstanding employees for this calendar year. I guess you'd say this fiscal year. We celebrated Frank Pennington on last Tuesday. This time we're going to have Mr. Josh McDaniel, who is our fire chief. Josh, yes, we know employees are supposed to show up and they're supposed to do what they're supposed to do. That's what they get compensated for. But what do you do when you have an employee that goes far beyond what is required for them to do? You celebrate them and you allow the people to see all the wonderful and great employees that we have here in the city. Josh took on so many different things this year. I almost called him the deputy mayor because every time I turned around, he was getting the city a brand new trailer. There's nobody in the state that has the trailer that we has. He went through a leadership program down at the personnel board, which he was one of probably 20 people to be a part of that. He got his master's this year. He was our tech person, Facebook person, movie night at the park person. I mean, went and got the trailer for the brand new train. So he's also the train person. You name it. He's been able to fill in the blank. We just want to celebrate him tonight. Thank him for all the hard work that he's done. And also he has $1,000 to go along with that. So Josh, you come on out, and I think you got your little daughter with you tonight. You all can clap before you I don't know why she acting sad. Josh, I just want to thank you for such a wonderful job this year. We've been a joy to be able to work with, fill in, run games. I remember when you and I first started, I was a city clerk. Nobody worked on Fridays. Josh would come sit with me for a couple of hours. One of the things we try to do is register somebody's vehicle. And we figured out that I'm a grade 28. I think he's a grade 29 or 30. We said, we put those two grades together. We was 16 in grade. We couldn't figure out how to register somebody for their car, but we got it done. I just want to thank you. I hope you don't go anywhere. You lead a fantastic department. Always have an ineffective ideas and don't hate spending. I hate to hear his voice. Because I know it's a toss. But I want to celebrate you today. I'm gonna give little mama the check. I'll take that home to his mama because the wife, Christine, said she was waiting on the check the last time I talked to her. And I'm giving Josh this shit. Josh, anything you want to say?
Thank you. I enjoy it. I've always loved the city of Irondale. I grew up here. Never thought that this is where I would end up. And I love it. I love everything that's going on. And just being a part, and that's where most of it comes from, is just enjoying what we're doing and being a part of the community. And so I thank you all for listening.
The next big awards goes to individuals that have gone beyond the call of duty when it comes to community service. We wouldn't be able to do all of the things that we do here in the city if we didn't have individuals to be able to volunteer their time, to give up their Saturdays, to give up their nights, to be a part of a lot of things that's going on in the city. We don't have enough employees to do all of the things that we do, but we have enough volunteers that are here, and I just want to show them how much we appreciate them tonight. So we have 3 what I call community champions, individuals that you can pick up the phone anytime, call them, ask them to get involved with the city, and they are here at no cost. I don't think that you can find that in a lot of communities. I hear a lot of mayors right now struggling. Mayor, how do we get people engaged? How do we get people engaged? How do we get people engaged? Well, we know how to do something in here. Irondale, we've got that right because we got a lot of people that are engaged, and I have some other names that I'm going to call out tonight. So I'm just going to go with the first person we have, and he's better known as the voice of the Mounties. I'm not going to say a lot because he's not shy on words. I'm just going to ask Mr. Nathaniel Rutledge if he would come to the front. And Nate, whatever you want to say within 1 minute, feel free to do that.
Making me feel like I talk a lot. I just simply want to say thank you. Anytime you get a call from the mayor's office to say, be here for this meeting, I'm here. And anytime I get a call to be a part of anything that's progressive about our city, I always want to be a part of it. I love Irondale. Irondale's been good to me and my family. And I want to do whatever I can. Thank you for the vision that you have. Thank this council for its leadership. God bless all.
Second award goes to Ruby. I don't know how to pronounce your last name. Well, I just call you Ruby. So Ruby has been God sent to us. I mean, anything that we need to have done in the Hispanic community, to taking documents and interpreting them to make sure that they can get the information when it comes to participating in events. When we had Yo Amo Day, She came and interviewed with me, and I didn't know what she was saying, but I did know when she got to say mayor, it was my time to be able to say something. She's been very helpful. She works in the Hispanic community tirelessly for this city and has never asked for anything. She didn't even know that she was getting recognized tonight. So, Ruby, I'm going to ask you to come on down, and if you want to say a few words.
Thank you guys for, letting me do this. It's been awesome, and I hope we get to keep on working together. And I love Myra, though. Right now, I live here. So, that's it. Don't be shy.
Don't be shy, come on. It's a family affair.
Hombre, vale, no tengan vergüenza.
And last but not least is Miss Sheila Lewis. I think Miss Lewis work here at the city more than I do. I can't even go on the countless number of events that she's participated here in the city in assisting to make sure that things go well. I know she and Ms. Jones was here at least for all of the farmers markets events. So, I mean, that's 8 events in itself, 10 events in itself right there. Always here, dependable, can always call on her. Even when we had events that wasn't city events, when I hosted the African American mayors from the Black Belt when they were here for the Classic Weekend, who was here volunteering to be able to help out to make sure that that event was successful. That was Miss Sheila Lewis. So, Miss Sheila, if you come on down.
So many people here in Irondale and with the Black Mayor's Conference, people outside of Irondale, and they were so complimentary of our city and everything that the mayor is doing. So anytime that Kim wants to call me, or the mayor wants to call me to do something, I'm available.
I'm gonna run through this real quick. What I have here is certificates for individuals that have served or volunteered in 3 or more events that we've had here at the city. You can see that we have a lot of volunteers because they have a big stack. that's here. So Lauren, if I would say the names and you would take it from me. And if you all are here, after I finish going through all of the names, I will ask you to come to the front. We're just going to take one big picture. Okay. Miss Sarah Moore, Miss LaRosa Early, Miss Ansonet Lewis, Nikki Tarver, Felicia Johnson, Trey Hawkins, Eartha Means, Faye Smith, Keena Allen, Karen Lee, Kay Mickle, Barbara Merkerson, Carol Dangerfield, Stacy Buga, Adrian Gray, Mallory Thomas, Anjanetta Robinson, Brenda Jones, Carolyn Jones, Antonio Weeks, Ken Benefield, Deborah Benefield, Monica Morris, Adrian Moore, Dorothy Wiggins, Barbara Hawkins, Terry Burney, Zora Tubbs, Marcus Ferris, Joyce Rutledge, Claude Perry, Marvin Rogers, Carolyn Red, Mary Shavers, Micah Freeman, Velma Freeman, Frida Williams, Sherry Berry, Lisa London, Marsha Kelly, Ann Johnson, Greg Townsend, Tanya Weeks, Lionel Means, Dina Creer, Danielle Hardy, Tony Jackson, Hal Harkness, Jesse Harkness, Dee Dee Brasher, Dorothy McAdory, Jeremy Wells, and Laura Andrus. If your name was called, if you would please come to the front so that we can get a quick photo. I think it was over 50 people, names that were called, part of this group. But again, as I stated earlier, there's no way that we can do all the things that we do here in the city if it wasn't for people volunteering, giving their precious time to make sure that we will continue to be the greatest municipality on this side of town.
Yes, please, and just on this side. Okay. All right, perfect. Ready, smile, 1, 2, 3. Got it. Thank you all.
All right, last but not least, I got one mayoral privilege and I have one father privilege. My father privilege that I get a chance to be able to share with you all and announce to you that our son, Christian Stewart, on December the 10th, will be going to Georgia.
Georgia.
It's the country, Georgia. I was just trying to wait to see how you all was going to respond. But he's going to Tbilisi, Georgia, which is the capital of Georgia. It's about 27-hour trip from here, 10-hour difference in time. but he's going over there to further his professional basketball career, and he will be gone for 3 months. So your dad is very proud of you. And my second announcement is I want you all to pray for your mayor as he seeks his doctoral or doctor's degree. It's called an executive doctorate business of administration. And for the next 3 years, I will be working towards getting a doctorate to actually to be a better mayor. I want to be a better mayor. I want to be able to do great things for a city. But in 2026, I will have an opportunity to be able to defend my dissertation, and my dissertation will have to deal with, in some form or fashion, local government. Thank you all for enduring us for tonight and all of the different celebrations and things that are going on. But at this time, I turn it over to our council president, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor. All right, at this time, we would go ahead and look for any reports from any department heads. Any department heads have any reports this evening? Okay. Moving on, we'll go ahead and get started with our council member reports. I want to go ahead and get this started off. A lot of times I'll do housekeeping, like if we have public hearings or anything like that, I'll kind of coach you guys through how that works. If we have executive sessions, I'll kind of coach you guys through on when we're going to do it and when you guys are obviously free to leave and everything. But in regards to, in particular, looking through the lens of the last meeting, from a procedural standpoint, I had some thoughts and something was prepared for me. So I just want to read that aloud. I think it will be self-explanatory as I read it, so I don't see any further reason to tarry on it. Let's see here. To begin tonight's meeting, I wanted to make a few comments regarding the council process and procedure. From a city council standpoint, I'd like for us as a city council to address all points of order to myself as the chair of the body, and I will bring order to the meeting. Okay. From a public standpoint, over the last few months, we've had a lot of new faces in our meetings, which is a very great thing. And I want to ensure everyone understands the process of our city council meetings. If you will look at our agenda, you will see that the meeting provides for periods of council deliberation and also periods for public comment. The discussion that the council has during the council deliberation on agenda items are different than public comments. While people from the audience may stand up and speak to the council, these speakers are representing the corporation of individual that is involved in that agenda item. These discussions are not subject to a time limit, and the length of said discussion is often dependent on the questions each counselor has regarding the items being discussed. Try to be respectful of everyone's time as we discuss an agenda item so that we don't spend too much time on any one item, but sometimes there are certain items that we will take longer on if there are more council questions on that item. We as a council value your comments and feedback, so we do set aside time at each meeting for public comments to be heard, even though there is no legal requirement for the public to have the opportunity to comment during city council meetings. The public comment periods occur in 2 times during a meeting, during public comments to the council on agenda items only. In that case, that would be item number 13 on our agenda tonight, and during public comments to the council, that would be item number 16. During each of these opportunities, citizens will be given 2 minutes to speak. It is important to note that these are comments to the council, and the council and mayor do not have the obligation to respond. However, depending on the subject matter, a city council member or the mayor may choose to respond with questions and or answers for you, or will want to try and set a time to discuss the matter further. If this is the case, we will do our best to ensure that the time the councilor or mayor spends speaking does not impact your 2 minutes. To wrap up, we as a council value input and engagement from the community during these meetings. This time limit allows a time for every person to that wishes to speak during the meeting. We appreciate you for understanding this. So just to kind of put a bow on that, Sometimes I do enforce the 2-minute time rule. Sometimes I don't. It really just depends on the content, how many people, as I read the room, how many people I feel that are going to commenting on things, or if the meeting just slides to, so late and we're getting past 9 o'clock, 9:30, and it's time for everybody to go to bed. There are times that I will impose that. We do have that right and everything, and I don't want it to sound so harsh in the fact that by law we're not required to do that. We're not, but we do value your feedback. So I want y'all to understand that if I impose a 2-minute time frame, it's not that I'm trying to disrespect you. It's because things have gotten late. I'm hearing a lot of the same things of that nature. So please, I hope that kind of comes through clear. Moving on to my report, to piggyback on the mayor and the engagement and things of that nature. I did something this weekend. I got on Facebook for a rare time, and I like to burn firewood in my fireplace. My girls like to do s'mores and all that kind of stuff. So for about the 5th or 6th time, I put out there on the community forum that I was looking for firewood. I know it sounds silly and simple, but the feedback that I got from our citizens was just fantastic. I'm just a guy here trying to build a fire for his little girls, and so many people reached out to me and said, hey, go on this corner, find some firewood, things of that nature. Every time I always ask for things, or every time I ever find someone giving away sod scraps or extra roof tiles or something, we live in such a cool community, and I just want to thank everybody for just being awesome. I know we have rare bits where people get, all riled up about certain things, but that's typically the minority of the time. Everybody here is just so awesome. And when someone reaches out for a need, there's always people that are stepping up to fill that gap, even if it's just for a guy trying to build a fire for his little girls. So I thank you. I yield the floor, Councilman Sims.
Thank you everyone for being here. To everyone that was recognized for all your volunteering and efforts for the city, thank you. Hopefully we can get twice as many recognized next year. Thanksgiving coming up. I hope everyone has a great Thanksgiving, safe Thanksgiving, and if you're traveling or not, just enjoy your time not working, hopefully. And that'll be it for me.
Go. Councilman Box.
Ditto and ditto and ditto some more. So basically, I just want to thank again our people that are helping out, working at Senior Activity Center, our public service guys, police and fire department, public works, they basically, the mayor's the head, but these are the guys that are the hands and the feet of the city that take care of us and do things, and we just can't thank them enough. And lastly, the abatement board that's basically processing through, helping us get things cleaned up. Sometimes it's not as popular, but it's still helping us move things forward in the city. And with that, I'll relinquish back to you, Council President.
Councilwoman Quayle.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for being here this evening. And for those that are live streaming, thank you for tuning in. And ditto to Councilor Box with our Public Works Department and others, Fire Department. Thank you so much for the work that you do. This is for our council members, but also for those who may be tuning in. This past November 7th, I traveled to Orange Beach for the Alabama League of Municipalities classes. I did it after our executive session that was held on that same night. These classes were being held for municipal officials, and also I was there to attend the Alabama League's graduation ceremonies for mayors and council members whom they designated as certified municipal officials. I, along with 38 other mayors and council members, were recognized after completing 40 credit hours of training conducted or endorsed by the League. This training program for elected officials was created in 1994 by the Alabama League of Municipalities under the direction of its executive committee to complete the cycle of training for municipal officials and employees. Until that time, no formal training had been offered for elected officials. This formal classroom training includes subjects such as council meeting procedures, parliamentary procedure, the Open Meetings Act, public records, ordinance drafting, conflicts of interest, the state ethics law, duties of the mayor and council, tort liability, competitive bid laws, zoning and planning, annexation, municipal regulatory powers, municipal revenues and expenditures, personnel actions, and leadership development. Now, for those who aren't aware, the Alabama League of Municipalities was organized in 1935. And since then, they have been the recognized voice of the cities and towns in Alabama. Through the years, the organization has steadily grown and now serves more than 450 municipalities here in the state of Alabama. This program also makes it possible for officials of cities and towns to come together in fellowship of public service. We exchange ideas on ways in which similar issues and problems we face were solved. We discuss achievements and goals that have been met and what steps were taken to achieve them, etc. One of the classes that I found to be excellent and very informative was a class held on the recent changes to the Alabama state bid laws. Now, gentlemen, I took photos of the slides that summarized the competitive bid laws and amended the public works bid law. And I'm working on putting them with the permission of the Alabama League of Municipalities, their legal team, because they put these slides together and they didn't provide them after the class. So I first need to get their permission. But there is some really, it's summarized very, very well. You've got these laws went into effect September 1st. When does it apply? It gives you a breakdown of when it applies. Labor services and work, cutting grass contracts, personnel, property, municipal vehicles and equipment. We now have police vehicles and equipment that fall under this bid law. It increased the bid threshold from 15,000 to 30,000. What about heavy-duty equipment contracts? They addressed that. Those were increased from 22,005 to 40,000. What do we do when bids or only one bid is received? Well, there are actually two options that we have as a council and city attorney and our mayor. They list those options. And what if all bids exceed the proposed budget? There's answers for that. There's guidance for that. What is the procedure for letting contracts in emergency circumstances? They address those issues. We do have some in place, but they give you a summarized way of how to deal with procedures when you've got emergency issues. And what if the competitive law applies to a contract that was not bid, but it was reasonably believed the contract value would not exceed the threshold amount? Municipalities have had those instances. Those issues are addressed. There are guidelines to do that. There are also two additional exemptions. Contracts regarding purchases of computer programs and software applications are now exempt. Then they talk about the public works bidding. What laws do we have there? Well, that's been increased from 50,000 to 100,000. New advertisement requirements. Because of technology, we now have a way where we can work with advertisement requirements. New methods for providing notice of project completion. They give us some guidelines there. Electronically submitted bids. This would involve our IT administrator if we wanted to go that route. There are ways that they can be done. There are also procedures for public works with the bid law when we're faced with emergency procedures. So this is a quick summary of what was done. I will share this certification of the municipal official with the group. And they also gave us their new municipal reporting guide. This was updated October of 2023, as well as their resources guide. So anyone of you who would like it, you're welcome to take them, because I did bring an extra set. And again, I will share this information with y'all by slide if possible. If not, I will summarize it for you and provide it for you. Lastly, I'd like to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. And for those who are traveling, safe travels. There you go, Councilor Linden. And one final thing is, I would like to know when we can schedule a finance committee meeting, because we weren't able to have the one that was scheduled last week. So if we can check our calendars, that may be the best way that we can schedule it.
knowing that the mayor is a key piece of that, and we're coming through this holiday schedule, and obviously there are some personal matters that that need to be attended to. I would yield to the mayor on some initial suggestions for that.
Thank you, Council President. It probably doesn't work out for me till after December the 4th,
Okay.
somewhere after December the 4th. I should be back in the mix by that time.
Okay.
We have a council meeting scheduled for the 5th. What if the 6th, what does the 6th look like for everyone?
I'm fine with the 6th.
Counselor Box?
I would have to get back to you on it because I am beginning December the 1st. I'm
A little busy.
quite productive.
Okay,
I have time, on the 5th because I purposely did not book anything for the 5th or the 19th, knowing that we would have council meeting on the 5th and the 19th. So those 2 days are clear with me.
okay.
But
What about the 5th then? But it would need to be before our council meeting.
If you wanted to do one on the 5th at 5, I would be
Okay.
amicable to that.
That would work.
Is that good for everyone? Mayor
I
Stewart?
have to look at my schedule because that basketball is thick during that time,
Thick, thick,
so
thick.
I may not be able to make it.
Okay.
All right, so the 5th or the 19th, so that it takes both of you into account, as well as the mayor.
I have to look at my calendar. I don't have my
Right.
calendar in front of me.
Right.
So I have to get back with you.
So if you would kindly look at the 5th or the 19th?
Get back with you when I look at my calendar.
Okay, very
Okay.
good, thank you. Mayor Stewart, is that good for you, the 5th or the 19th?
I mean, to be honest with you, I'm facing something that I don't really have a time limit. I mean, it's a family issue that I'm working through with my mom, so I don't know when that's gonna take place. I'll give you all a certain window of time, but I can't pinpoint anything now because I know when it takes place, I'm gonna be out of pocket.
I say we will go ahead and get an email string going,
Yeah, tentatively at those 2
pencil it
dates.
in,
Yeah,
put out the announcement if we need to. If we need to move it, then we just move it.
thank you so much. Appreciate
Absolutely.
it. That
problem.
concludes my report.
Okay. Councilman London,
Happy Thanksgiving.
happy Thanksgiving. Does that conclude your report, Councilman London? Copy that. All right. With that being said, we will look to the council board here for any boards or non-council comments. Any boards or non-council reports. All right. Does not appear that we have any of those. So we will go ahead and we will run through the agenda items during the deliberation piece. All right, so let's see here. Approval of form agenda, public comments. All right, so item number 1 would be resolve the resolution 2023 R172 authorizes Mayor James D. Stewart Jr. or his designee to execute a pole attachment agreement with the Alabama Power Company for holiday decorations. That's got Frank's name aside of it. That seems self-explanatory. Anything to add to that, Mayor?
Unless you all have some.
Okay. Councilman London, any questions
No
for Mayor?
question.
Councilwoman McQuayer?
No questions.
Councilman Box?
No question.
Councilman Sims?
The lights look great.
They do, don't they? Do we agree to keep number 1 on consent?
Yes.
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 Okay. Number 2, resolve the resolution 2023 R173 authorizes Mayor James D. Stewart Jr. or his designee to execute a traffic signal service agreement with Alabama Power Company for the installation of additional traffic signals at the Grants Mill Road Publix location. Must be a popular pace, huh? All right. Any questions to the mayor on this one, Councilman London?
Are they adding another one, or just talking about?
No, this is for the existing lights that are there. This is a agreement between the city for the powering up that intersection. Cost is probably somewhere around $100 a month. And we also have another agreement with Jefferson County. They do the maintenance on the lights. We just provide the power to the lights. But the cost is about $100, and we pay the power for all of the traffic lights in the city. So this is not anything new with doing that for the public's development.
Councilwoman Quayle?
Just so that I'm clear, we're looking at $100 a month that will be paid to Alabama Power, and then another $100 for Jeffco?
No, just $100 going to Alabama Power for the power. We don't know what Jefferson County is going to build us for the maintenance on the street lights. I can say currently with all of the lights we have here, we pay under $500 for the maintenance a month. So the maintenance should be very minimal for that traffic light.
Thank you. That's all my questions.
Councilman Box?
No question.
Councilman Sims?
No questions.
Do we agree to keep this on consent?
Yes.
All right. Item number 3, resolve that resolution 2023 R174 authorizes Mayor James D. Stewart Jr. or his designee to execute a community service agreement with the Alabama Coalition for Immigrant Justice United in the amount of $2,500. Lee, you get off the hook on this one. Mayor, would you like to elaborate on how you came to find this organization?
Yes. Several months ago, the organization reached out to me, just wanted to meet me because I was the mayor. They are located behind the Crystals in Irondale. So they've been there for several months in those. They look like houses, but they're also offices that are back there. I invited them to come to City Hall and just to be able to discuss what were their plans and what they were trying to do in the community, and if it was any way that I could help in facilitating that for them. On November the 1st, I actually went to the organization and sat in on one of their meetings. And what they were doing there at their meetings, they were helping Hispanics or Latinos navigate through the process when they are not fluent in English. They talked about being able to provide people to the school systems to be able to help the kids, because we know ESL they don't have a lot of teachers to be able to help the kids. They talked about how the kids get further behind because of the lack in language. They talked about how they could help one another to be able to navigate through the city and the county to be able to get services when services were desired. So when I put this item on the agenda, that was the reason that I put it on the agenda. Now, all these other things that I've heard and all these other questions that have come up since I put this on the agenda, that was not my intent. My intent was only to help an organization in the city of Irondale that catered to the Hispanic community and to help those individuals know how to navigate through the city of Irondale when they need city services or other services that may be provided in our community.
Copy. And with respect also of it coming out of your discretionary fund, I recognize that. Councilman Lennon, any questions for the mayor?
Yeah, do we have anybody from the organization here tonight? No, yes?
No.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Councilwoman Quayle?
Yes, I did want to talk about this. There are many things that you may not know in regard to some of my involvement with the Hispanic community. I am a minority. I'm bilingual. And ever since I lived in Texas as a young teenager, I've been involved with immigrants. My faith community has been involved with immigrants. And we worked with immigrants for many years, 20 years for me, before I moved to Irondale. And since that time, I continue to work with immigrants and try to do what I can to help them through this process. Now, with that experience in working with them and in seeing organizations that work with them, one of the first questions that I have learned to ask is this organization involved in political activities? So that's one question I have. Are they involved in political activities? The second question I would ask is this organization involved in electioneering communications as defined under federal or state law? The third question, are they involved in actions intended to influence legislation? Are they involved in actions to influence the outcome of any specific public election, or to carry on directly or indirectly voter registration drives? Now, the letter that we received states that they are. With all this in mind, working with immigrants and seeing organizations that work with immigrants that are involved in these types of processes, I have become very saddened and grieved throughout the years, because anytime an election comes around, they're very, very, very active. And I did go and pull up the Form 990 for this organization. And what I found was that 84% of the funding that they receive takes care of their salaries, other salaries and wages for other employees, other employee benefits, taxes, management, accounting, office expenses, IT, travel, insurance, conference, conventions, meetings, professional development, and 84% takes care of all of that. But how much goes towards actually helping the people? 16%. And where this money went, this 16%, was to provide COVID assistance to vetted individuals. That's where it went. And it grieves me when there are organizations that are set up that are intended to help immigrants. They say that they're helping the immigrants, but when 84% of everything that you receive goes to pay your salaries, goes to pay all your things, and only 16% actually goes towards helping immigrants, that saddens me, because it's not really doing what they're saying that organizations are saying that they're doing. I'm not saying that they're doing this, but when I look at the 990, 16% of it went for immigrants, and it went for COVID vetting. The other part of the experience that I have was actually serving on the federal grand juries for a whole year, the federal grand jury. This is a very hot topic. And serving on the grand jury, it took me 6 months when dealing with these kinds of issues to get over them, because there were several innocent people that suffered from immigrants that committed heinous crimes. And so when you've got that experience and then you have this other experience, it's very hard. You want to do what is right, but it's not as easy. And so when I received this, and I received calls from people, because this is a heated topic, I need to know, is this organization involved in political activities? Are they involved in actions intended to move the outcome of elections? Because if they're involved in doing these kinds of things, our public funds should not be used for political activities. Those are the questions I have, and those are the questions that really deserve to have answers. And so this is why I'm very, very mixed with this, because I do have a lot of experience in working with immigrants. I do see how they are exploited by groups, and I don't want that happening in our city. I have helped immigrants here in Irondale. I do understand what they sometimes struggle with children in schools, with needing to know where to go if you need a doctor, with needing to know where to go if you need some legal assistance. I have worked with them. I do understand it. But I need to know, are they involved in political activities? Because if that's the case, I don't want them exploited. I don't want them exploited. Those are my comments.
Got it. Councilman Box, any questions or comments on this one?
I received several emails and text messages. Some resistant to this particular request, and others in favor of it. And so, I would say, coming from where you're talking about, it is from the mayor's discretionary funds. So if the mayor chooses to support this, then I don't see where we should go against it. I don't know of any time in the past that anyone has gone against anyone else's discretionary spending. I do lend some validation to Councilwoman McQuayler's comments, simply because many of the emails that I got that do bring up, are these immigrants documented, are they undocumented? Working in personnel field myself, I deal with several individuals that are struggling to become documented, some of them that aren't struggling to become documented, some of them that are using the system, some of them aren't, which makes it no different than any other human being that I've ever been involved in. Looking at the money part of this, it's 18.5 cents per citizen for the city of Irondale. If it's meant to do good, let's let it do good. I am concerned with Councilwoman McQuaylar that only $2,100 only $400 will actually be going to help immigrants over 52 weeks, whereas $2,100 will be paying salaries on 52 weeks. But that's not uncommon for various organizations, whether they be a 501c3, a church, whether they be a private organization. They have to pay the people that work there, and I get that, and there's some points to it. So with that said, then it's back to me. It's the mayor's discretionary fund. If he chooses to support it, I will support him there. And I would just encourage everyone to think about this. It's 18.5%. So if half of the citizenry of Irondale supports it, it's not even that much money. The other half, wouldn't be that much, and I'm sure we can find 18 cents to make it up to.
Fair enough. Councilman Sims?
I appreciate everything Councilor Cuellar brought up. I also agree with pretty much everything Councilor Box just said. I think if it's going to provide some needed services to people living in Irondale, citizens of ours, then I think it's a good idea. And if the mayor thinks it's a good idea, I'll support that.
Okay. I find value in both of y'all's comments, Councilwoman Cuellar and Councilman Box. At the end of the day, this is something that made an impact on Mayor. It's from the discretionary fund. Would I love to learn more about the organization and what they do? By all means. I know that when my kids were in person learning, they met a lot of people from the Latin community, a lot of children, and it's been an absolute blast getting to know their families, getting invited over for birthday parties and things of that nature. So I definitely love that, community. And if there is something positive that comes from this organization, then I'm all for it. I believe that no organization is perfect by any means. So if we need to learn more, then we need to learn more. But at the end of the day, to Councilman Sims' comments, I believe if there's an opportunity good, then we should take a look at it. So that's my comments. Do we need to move this to regular, or are we good on consent?
I'd like to request that it be moved to regular.
Fair enough.
Council President,
Yes, sir.
can I just say one thing? I'm
Please.
not saying anything to make it a debate. The only thing that I wanted to give this disclaimer: the organization didn't come to the city asking the city for money. I did this on my own after having a conversation with the organization. So I don't want anybody to think that the organization came to me for a donation. But after talking to them, understanding what they do, I decided to do this for my discretionary fund on my own.
Yes, sir. Comments noted, and I appreciate the fact they obviously made an impact on you. Yes, sir. All right, so we'll move that to regular. Item number 4, resolve that resolution 2023 R175 authorizes Mayor James D. Stewart Jr. or his designee to execute a grant agreement with Alabama Power Foundation, Inc. in the amount of $1,410 even for the program Building Community, Building the Future. Mayor, would you like to tell us a little bit more about this?
Yes, every year the Alabama Power Foundation gives out a grant to municipalities up to $2,500. This is 23, so I would say in 21 we received the grant for $2,500 to be able to do some gateway work. This time we applied again and we received $1,410 to be able to do some work at any gateway we choose within the city to be able to do some work. We can use these funds to help to offset that cost.
Nice. Thank you all for pursuing that. Councilman Lennon, any comments or questions?
No question.
Councilwoman Quayle?
No questions. He's explained it well. Thank you.
Perfect. Councilman Box?
No questions.
Councilman Sims?
No questions.
And myself, no questions. We agree to keep this on consent?
Yes.
All right. Item number 5, resolution 2023 R176 authorizes Mayor James D. Stewart Jr. or his designee to invest the sum of $1 million in the city's reserve fund at Service First Bank. Mayor, I know we talked a little bit about this. Would you like to speak on it?
Yes, first of all, I would like to change the bank from Service First to Truist Bank. After getting into some negotiations, Truist is willing to pay the city 5.1% on a money market, 5.3% on 3 months, 5.4% on 6 months, and 5.3 on 13 months. They ended up with the best rate that we could receive to be able to move some of our money out of our regular account that we have here with the bank to put it into something separate so that we can, based on $1 million over a year's time, 5%, $50,000. The way that our banking is set up now, I won't go into it here. It would be where I'd have to give a class to be able to, if I got into talking about earning credits and how everything play out. But the way that our banking play out at Truist is not that we receive an interest rate for what we have in the general reserve. They take all $21 million, put it together. We get what is called the earning credit based on the amount of money that we put in the bank. That's the revenue side. Then all of the expenses that we incur, from processing checks to lockbox and all of that stuff, those expenses then come out of that revenue, and then the city receives the difference either in a positive, a deficit, or a surplus. We wanted to be able to take this amount of money to put it somewhere separate so that we could see exactly how much we were earning off of that $1 million. So then we can take the $50,000 in interest that is coming into the city and to invest that in doing something else in the city. The reason that we don't want to put any more than that, because maybe a month ago, I had a financial advisor to come in here to talk about the city also diversifying a little bit by getting into T-bills. So we want to take some of the money. We want to take about $1 million, diversify that, put it in T-bills. We want to take another $1 million, take that, and put it in either a money market, 3, 6 month, 9 month, 12, 13 month CD to be able to earn. And then we will still have, right now in unrestricted funds, we have about $11 million. So if we take $2 million, we still got about 9 in unrestricted. And then with the unknown, not knowing what's going to happen when the bulk of our money comes in between January and February, I'd rather for us to stay pat, keep what we got, invest a little, see how it turns out. If it gets a little better, we move a little more money over there to be able to do it. So hopefully I didn't talk too much about $1 million.
Councilman Lennon?
No question.
Councilwoman Quayle?
Yeah, the 5.1% at Truist, that's just not a term. It's not a 3 month. It's not a 6 month. We're gonna get 5.1% on the million.
Yes.
Okay, that sounds good. The other thing I wanted to note, you know, you were talking about the T-bills. there really isn't a reason that our city treasurer couldn't be investing that money directly into the T-bills. The city would save money. You wouldn't be charged a fee to do it. And she could do that. The CDA's treasurer is doing that right now. And they're not paying anything to do that. It's not a very difficult process. We could teach you how to do it. I've done it with some of my own personal funds. They're averaging anywhere from 5.7 right now, 5.2, but a lot depends on whether they're 4-week, 8-week, or 17-week. But there isn't any reason why she couldn't be doing that for us.
Well, let me ask you this, Councilwoman Cuellar. First of all, we need to ask her how comfortable
just
she.
wanted to know.
Well, let me just speak.
Yeah.
We need to ask her first if she feels comfortable with doing that. I'm here to be able to help her to do that. But second of all, the reason that I mentioned the municipal advisor, not the municipal advisor, but using the investment advisor, because we were also talking about moving our OPEB from regions to moving it to another place to have that invested. So that's the component of it that I'm talking about, having a professional person to be able to invest that money, because we don't know how to invest money. That's not our expertise, investing into short-term, long-term, small cap, large cap, mid cap, bonds. We don't do that as a municipality. So my preference would be that we would have a professional to do the investing for our OPEB. And while they are doing that, hopefully we could get a good deal where they wouldn't charge us to be able to do the T-bill. So that's my philosophy on moving forward.
Right. One of the things, I did work with investments, so I'm familiar with all of it, what you're just saying. But the one thing that's very key, because we are talking about substantial amounts of money, $1 million is a substantial amount. The amount that's in our trust OPEB over at Regions is a little over $1 million as well. And so the thing that I would be doing is I would want to compare what these investment advisors would charge to manage both, because that makes a significant difference in the rates that they charge to manage these two instruments for you.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Do you mind going to get 3 quotes and bringing a presentation back to the council and tell us exactly what we need to do?
Be happy to do that.
Okay, well, if you do that for us, then I think that solves the problem for
All
everybody.
right, so you're looking at $1 million.
$1 million
That's unrestricted,
that's
and
unrestricted.
you'd like it in T-bills.
No, not the T-bills. I'm talking about the investment.
You're talking about the $1 million
The OPEB.
regions.
I want you to bring us 3 individuals or yourself and educate us and show us how we can take the money that we now have in regions and do a better job of investing that with either you helping us or with those 3 individuals.
Be happy to do that.
Okay.
What about the other $1 million that you were talking about?
We can sit down and talk about that too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Just to make sure I'm hearing y'all correctly, the $1 million that is on the agenda for the amended institution of Truist, that was not a part of that conversation,
No.
correct? Okay,
No.
got it. Perfect. All right. Councilman Box?
I'm way over my head on that, so no questions.
Okay. Councilman Sims?
I did have one question I forgot to ask yesterday. This $1 million, is this $1 million currently in the reserve fund getting moved, or is it $1 million in the general fund getting added to the reserve fund?
$1 million in the reserve fund being moved, being moved to another instrument.
Okay.
My only comments, I'm familiar with earnings credits. Sometimes the transparency on what your rate of return is a little not transparent. So I can appreciate wanting to have some light brought on, and that sounds like a fantastic rate. Municipal finances are not like your home assets or your home finances. They're looked at dramatically different. For the way that they have to be backed up and shored up, the bank loses the opportunity to invest those funds. So many institutions are actually not welcoming of institutional deposits and things of that nature. So to be able to get this type of rate on this type of funding, I think is
Yeah.
great. And I'm glad that you had an opportunity to talk with a good representative from Truist. Do we agree to keep item number 5 on the agenda
Yes.
as under consent?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Moving on to number 5 under regular new business, ordain that ordinance 2023 amends certain sections of Appendix B of the Irondale City Code to amend business license regulations. Mayor, is there anything in particular you want to say about this, or should I just go to questions?
Just go to questions.
Okay. Councilman London, any questions for Mayor on this?
No question.
Okay. Councilwoman Cuellar?
No questions.
Councilman Box?
No, I've got to talk to the mayor. Thank you.
Okay. Councilman Sims?
No questions.
And I've had mine answered as well. This being an ordinance, just remember we need to go through this 3-step phase. So now that we've concluded deliberation, I will ask the council for a approval of the form of the agenda.
Motion to approve the form of the agenda.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right. Now that we have an approved agenda, we would take public comments on agenda items only. This would be items that we have just deliberated. Comments on agenda items only. Yes, ma'am. Were these for agenda items? Okay.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
This is for item 2023 R174. And this is what you deliberated regarding the Alabama Coalition for Immigrant Justice United. And thank you for that wonderful discussion. You stated $2,500 for vague training services offered to an audience that wasn't specified. There was a weather awareness program noted. I think it's important to be aware that local radio and television stations provide free educational programs. And these programs are offered by these professionally trained weathermen and weatherwomen. And some of the programs, they offer free weather radios. So in terms of helping this group for weather awareness, go ahead and let the organization use the professionals rather than our tax dollars. That's my opinion. I think we should steer away from the fact that this is a energized activist group. There's some things on their website that are a little concerning. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Yes, ma'am. Is this the young lady she have as well? Okay, perfect.
Well, thank you very much for allowing me the opportunity to speak, Mayor, council persons. I am also wanting to speak about this organization, Alabama Coalition for Immigration Justice. And my comments perhaps encapsulate a variety of things that I've heard from each of you. I am absolutely 100% committed to improving the plight of immigrants in this country. They all face a rough road so many ways. And any organization that has as its main objective to make that road easier garners my support. It's immigration justice in the name, in fact, sounds so good. How could anyone not support that idea, that concept? And objecting to poor public policy or advocating for improvements in public policy is also noble and very American at heart. And from what I understand, this organization, this entity, has that as one of its main goals, to object to poor policy, in their opinion, and advocate for better policy. So I have no problem with that either in this organization. However, the payment of public funds should be maintained, in my opinion, for public welfare purposes. That's government's prime goal and objective. And when there is a potential conflict, which may be the case in with this particular organization, of one public entity providing public funds to, in effect, combat another public entity, which I see can happen with one of the ACIJ's main objectives, and that is to object to or fight against a contract with ICE, with our neighboring municipality of Birmingham,
Please conclude.
then I think we have to stop, take a step back and determine whether that's proper use of public funds. My request is that we come up with clear guidance on the ethics and legality of dispersing public funds in these situations where we have entities that have combined goals and objectives, political ones as well as welfare ones.
Thank you for your
And
comments.
I thank you very much for allowing me the opportunity to
Do
speak.
you have 3 sheets or just 2? You have 3. Do we have any other comments on? Yes, sir. Okay, well, since we don't have your sheet for the clerk, we'll just need your.
I filled something in here.
Okay.
There you go.
Is that what you need? Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, yeah, so, I couldn't tell you what they do, what they haven't done, what's hearsay about how political they are, whatnot. But I do know that, they themselves in describing who they are, and what they do said, we want everyone to know that regardless of their immigration status, they have civic rights and are important members of the social fabric of our state. That sounds really good, but let's look at what they said here. They're saying regardless of immigration status. What does that mean? Obviously, it means illegal. And yet, what are they doing in the very next line? Saying they have civic rights. So where do civic rights come from? They come from the law. In other words, they're appealing to your sense of the law to undermine it in the very same breath. Now, if this was just your money, I would say, knock yourself out, do what you want. I wouldn't recommend it. I don't think it's a good idea. I think there are reasons to be concerned about what their motives are. But I think it's all of our money, right? This kind of reminds me of MTV's Rock the Vote. Does anybody remember that? It's from when I was a teenager a long time ago. They were the advocates of everybody get out and register to vote. Everybody register to vote. And on the surface, that was such a good thing. It was like, yeah, who can't get behind that? Who would disagree with that? And there was even a particular rock star, and I can't remember his name because I remember reading the story about 15 years ago, so forgive me on that. Just have to take my word for it that this is accurate. He went along with it because he loved the idealism of it too. But he found out, wait a minute, this is all actually oriented towards getting people to vote in a very specific way. And he didn't want to have anything to do with it. And he wasn't even a conservative. He just didn't like the idea of how there was a undercurrent of manipulation to it. And I can't help but wonder if you're a rock star, and you're...
Please conclude on that. That's not necessary.
Okay.
Please conclude your point very quickly.
That this isn't something that, or rather I'll say this is something that we should have a more of a say in how our money gets used for a group like that, and that we should be really careful about that and think twice about it.
Thank you for your comments. Do we have any other comments? Yes, ma'am.
All right, this group, I looked on their website. They're very political. They want to get rid of ICE in Alabama. And you look at it and you're like, some of this stuff is really nefarious. And I'm thinking, I'll help anybody. And I've seen what happened to my old state of New York. Forget it. It's a mess. I don't want that to happen around here. I'll help anybody. I'll do whatever I can. But if you want to change our laws and our legislature, I don't like it. And I don't want to give my money to something like this. It's just absolutely wrong. So that's how I feel.
Thank you for your
I don't
comments.
want my money going to this.
I would accept comments to the council on agenda items only if there is something different. We've heard a lot of the same opinions. I would welcome any other comments that do not necessarily align, but if there's something new that someone would like to say about this organization. Have all of our slips been cast? We have a slip up here for Larry Jones to make a comment. Was it about deliberation items or was it about non-deliberated items?
Deliberated item, the one we discussed.
Okay, if you would like to take your 2 minutes, please feel free to do so.
I can stand up here, I think everybody can hear me. My opinion is that we should not give public money to political organizations. And that's the way I feel about it. That's a lot less than 2 minutes.
Copy that. Thank you, sir. All right. That seems to be all the comments that we have on agenda items only. Am I missing anybody? Okay. Fair enough. Thank you. All right. At that time, I would ask for the approval of the consent agenda.
Make a motion, we approve the consent agenda, which includes item 1, 2, 4, and 5, moving item 3 to the new business agenda.
Okay. We have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
Second. All in favor? Aye. All right. Moving on to item number 3. If I could get a motion on item 2023 R174. If it will not be moved, then I will move resolution 23 R174 authorizing Mayor James D. Stewart or his designee to execute a community service agreement with the Alabama Coalition of Immigrant Justice United in the amount of $2,500. Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
No.
One opposed. Any abstentions?
One extension.
So we have one abstention, one opposed, and 3 yeses. Did I get that right? Okay, for the record. All right. And then item number 6, if someone could take us through the process on ordinance 2023-33.
I make a motion that ordinance 2023-33 be considered read.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
I make a motion that we suspend all rules that would prevent the immediate consideration of ordinance 2023-33.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call. Councilman
Yes.
London?
Yes.
Councilwoman McQuayer?
Yes.
Councilman Box?
Yes.
Councilman Sims?
Yes.
And myself, yes.
I make a motion that ordinance 2023-33 be approved and adopted.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. All right. That finishes the deliberation and the agenda. At this time, we would take public comments to the council on non-agenda items. These would be other items that have not been deliberated this evening. Okay. With no comments to the council on non-agenda items, I'd ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
We have a motion. We have a second. We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much for your time. Happy Thanksgiving, safe travels, and just enjoy.